Hey, Herman here with a new video in the ClearPass workshop series where we build a ClearPass deployment from scratch and integrate with wired, wireless, Active Directory and much more. In the last video we were halfway setting up our Aruba instance with a Windows client to connect to ClearPass, and we were stuck with this fatal alert by client unknown CA, which has to do with the radius certificate on the ClearPass server. What we'll need to do is we need to request a certificate. We'll do that right now. So here we go under administration, we go in our certificate store, and here you can see our current radius EAP certificate is a self-signed certificate. So self-signed certificates are not a good idea in any way, not in this case either. So make sure that we need to change this. You probably have seen this slide before. For the radius certificate, strongly recommended to take a public certificate. So if you are deploying guest or onboard, that the clients will not get any certificate warnings. For the radius certificate, on the other hand, the details are in the certificate 101 tech note, but it's strongly recommended to have that issued from a private certificate authority. So not a self-signed, but you need a private certificate authority if you have that, and issue the certificate from that location. So you have control over the issuing CA. As well, you can make certificates with slightly longer running times. You can make sure that if you want to renew your certificate, that your certificate authority is still available. There are multiple reasons to have the private certificate authority to issue your radius certificate for ClearPass. On the other hand, there are no big benefits of having a public certificate authority because compared with the HTTPS certificate, where you can check, for example, the CPM1 lab.air.eu, you can check that with the content in the certificate. If you are connecting to the Airhead's corporate SSID, there's no way of validating if you are connecting to the right SSID and if you're using the right certificate server. So there's not so much an use to use public certificates for the radius. So for the radius certificate, we could use the same approach as for the public certificate and import it, but let's do it the other way here. And let's create a certificate signing request. Then I will go into my AD certificate services and we'll issue that certificate and import that in the ClearPass server. So what we will do is we'll change this to another name. Let's name this radius.arubalab.log. And we'll do the same here. By the way, this radius certificate is the same certificate as a web server certificate. So you could use your web server certificate as well. But as mentioned, it's not recommended to use the public certificate. And use the private key. Let's take a 4K key. This looks good. That doesn't work. Oh, let's take the country, Netherlands. That's better. So here we have our certificate signing requests. Let's copy this one. Now we can go into our certificate authority. I have a Microsoft Enterprise PKI, which is running on the Active Directory. Also, I use that to deploy certificates to my clients. So let's have a look if I can connect to it. Yeah, I need to authenticate. And here I can request a certificate. I want to have another certificate than the user certificate. Here I can paste my certificate signing request. It's a web server. Don't need additional attributes. Submit. And that is fast. Let's download it in base 64. So here's my new cert new 1. What we need to do as well is we need to download the CA certificate. You can see I have 2 versions of the CA certificate, so let's download both of them. So these are the 2 and the 3. Let's go back. So as we know now, we need to import our root CAs first, otherwise we can't import the certificate. So we go to the trust list. Let's import our root certificate. The use type will be EEP. We're using it for radius. And let's import the other one as well. Good. And the difference between those days is that the expiration date is different. So this one is still 21. And the other one is still 26. That's the difference. But let's include them both. Now we go back to the certificate store and we go to import our radius certificate. So we upload the certificate and we will use the saved private key. So this one is the one that was issued by the CA. And now we can see we have this certificate with the information that we added in. What we don't need to forget is that we need to put that on the other node as well. So in order to do that, we can export this certificate here. That's the easiest way. And always put a password on it. If you don't put password on it, you won't get the private key. Now we can import it in the other node. Import radius. We use a P12. And we put in the passphrase. Awesome. So on our subscriber, we have our certificate. On the publisher, we have our certificate as well. Now, I wonder if this fixes our problem. So let's press cancel again. Let's press connect. And we are connected. So that's absolutely awesome. We did a great job. So let's check the access tracker. And now we can see we are connected here as the host. We can see we are authenticated against our Aruba Lab AD. We are machine authenticated with EEP-TLS. If we go to the input, we can see here the computed attributes, all the certificate information that I have. Few other things. Now we are connected. What we can do is if we right click here and click on the status, we can go into the wireless properties. In the security and the advanced settings, we can select that we want to do user or computer authentication. Let's see if that works as well. And now we can't connect to this network. So let's have another look. What happens here? We see a reject. We go into the reject again. As mentioned, if there is any issue, there is an alert step here. And in the alert step here, we can see the user is not found. And that is because the AD user is different from the user in the certificate. Like the certificates that I issued to the clients. These are using the user principal name instead of the username. I have another video how you can fix this in another way, but I think the easy fix at this point is we go into the services, we go back to our wireless service, and here under authentication we have the option strip username. What we can do here is we can strip user : @ and that will take the username as everything that is before the @ sign. So it will strip out the arubalab.log at this time. And if I have a single domain, that's not an issue. So let's do that. Go back to my client. See if we can connect now. And I see we are connected. Check the access tracker again. And we see an accept. And in this accept, we can now see as well here for the computed attributes, the certificate. So we are now authenticated as the user with the user certificate. What I didn't tell you up to now is how I got the client certificate on this specific client. And that's done through group policy. So in AD, I created a group policy to enroll computer certificates and user certificates to each of my clients. And you can check them. If you check here with manage user certificates, here under personal, you can see here is my certificate. So this is automatically enrolled from a group policy. The same for the computer certificate. So that's enrolled as well fully automatically from the Active Directory service. As well, here under the Trusted Root Certificate Authorities, you can see are both CAs. So automatically, if you are in the domain where you have AD certificate services, your root CAs are automatically enrolled as well to your clients. And that made, when I clicked it, that the certificate was automatically recognized because I didn't touch my client before. It was all done through a group policy. If you don't have Windows clients or they are not in the domain, then you probably will need to have some kind of mobile device management system to enroll the certificates as well to enroll the certificate trust. As well, when I imported the root CA, because this client certificate and the computer certificates are issued by the same root CA, by importing it in the ClearPass trust list, I automatically allowed it for client authentication. So if you are issuing certificates from another certificate authority, so like if you are using mobile device management, at that point make sure that the root CA for that client certificate is also included in the trust list, because it's the same certificate authority at this point. It worked in my case. But as you can see, the certificates are there, the trust is there, and we are now connected to the Airheads corporate SSID, which is a great progress from the last time where we couldn't connect. So now we can connect. It's still very basic, and we will make it more advanced in the next video. In that video, we will be adding roles, Aruba user roles, to the ClearPass deployment, so we can differentiate the access for our admins and our users, for example. Hopefully you're looking forward to the next video. If you do, please press the subscribe button, because then you will be notified when the new videos are posted. As well, if you have any questions, either go to the Airheads community or post your questions below this video as a comment, and we might answer them. And hopefully, if you like the video, press the like button as well. That's it for now. Hope to see you in the next video.